But the main thing we're going to talk about to start with is starting on odor. And so I'll just kind of give you the rundown on some of the main concepts. One of which is that your dog basically recognizes two kinds of odor. It recognizes odor that is paid for and recognizes odor that is not paid for, right? Odor that's reinforced and odor that's not reinforced. Oh, okay. And the stuff that is reinforced is not always reinforced by us, right? Like it's very reinforcing. For example, it's very reinforcing when we're doing primary. That odor is reinforcing for itself. Obviously dog smells, pee smells, food on the ground, rabbits, mice, any of those things, who knows, snow, are also reinforcing to them. It's self-reinforcing, right? They like it. So what we're trying to focus on is the odor that we're going to reinforce, which is very specific. And in Canada, we use Wintergreen. I think for every organization in Canada, they start with Wintergreen. So that's what we're starting with here, and that's the odor kit that I gave everybody. Yeah. And at the beginning stages, what we're doing is we're pairing our odor with our primary reinforcer. And that takes us out of the picture. It continues to let us be out of the picture, which helps them to just continue to develop hunt drive and does not allow for those of us who are pet handlers, which is most of us, to mess up our markers, right? Because there's two ways. We can either directly reinforce or we can indirectly reinforce. And if we are indirectly reinforcing, as in we're marking and then feeding, that requires timing. Lots of people have good timing. A lot of people have bad timing. So the nice thing about pairing odor is that we take away any bad timing that happens by basically just introducing the odor, having it paired with our primary reinforcer, our food, and they just get to play the game that so far they're very familiar with. Go out, find the thing in the box or around the box. Because we're starting outside today, and we've changed our context for environment, we'll start in the box, just so that it's we want it to be simple and quick and successful. So yeah, so that's why with NACSW we pair our odor. Not every organization does. There are other methods that do not, that go straight to indirect reinforcement. And I have taught dogs for whom that is an absolutely fine way to do it. I've also seen people with terrible timing, and dogs that take longer to kind of get it. They're like, okay, well, we just went straight from like looking for a reward out in the environment, like my food out in the environment, to this weird wintergreen, right? Like, what's that? About odor itself, because we're using essential oils, if you've ever touched an essential oil, it's a lot like glitter. Yeah. So once we touch the essential oil, it tends to be kind of everywhere. So I'll just talk a little bit about odor hygiene. This is what is called, this is a very small one, I need a bigger one. This is my cold box. So everything in here has not been in contact with odor. I'll show you what's in it. And everything, this is my hot box, and everything that is in here has been in contact with odor. So when I take the lid off of this, even though it's supposed to, I've got a bunch of Pelican cases, which are super expensive and are supposed to be odor proof. This thing smells like odor. And so ideally we really want to keep them separate. I keep this one in the garage, I keep this one in the house. Best practice is keep your stuff away, your hot stuff away from your cold stuff. Okay. And so I'll maybe just show you my odor kits first. So I have a kit for each one. So like this is my Pelican case for Wintergreen. It includes some little Q-tips that are scented with odor. It includes, I should have gloves on, it includes a pair of tweezers so that I'm not touching the Q-tips. It includes the actual odor. Any glass jar, glass is really important, with a lid. Ideally a metal lid works best. Anything that touches the essential oil will eventually melt. Ideally, when you're dealing with odor, you should be using a glove.
Right.
And that way you don't have it on your hands. You're not like touching that and then touching other things, because odor will leave a residue, and then your dog may hit on that residue. And the challenge is that they haven't really found what you want them to find, but they're also not wrong.
Right.
She's ready to go.
She's so garbage.
Definitely using the nose. I'm going to close this kitchen. So you can continue to let her sniff for just a second, because we don't want to interrupt her from hunting, really. That's the entire game, is to get her hunting. So for as long as she's willing to look, we'll let her go for another couple seconds, and then I'm going to move that box and we'll go again. And I would just stand and wait for a second, because that, the food part of that hive will now sort of be dead to her. Oh, not quite. So just stand still for a minute and see if she gets the idea that, oh, I can move on. Maybe without a cue. If we don't have to cue them, that's even better. For the most part, most people do cue them, but just wait for a second, see if she'll move on. There we go. Now follow. Nice job. Don't forget to mark. Everybody needs to make sure they're marking with a yes, right? Like not just the food, but like yes, because we do eventually want to be able to fade that into a just mark and not have the pairing hides there eventually. Nice job. You can let her sniff the rest if she wants to just see what else is there. No, she's already out of there, so. I'm still having lots of moments where I'm like, I'm hoping that this is just like teenage boy moment and not like you're gonna turn out to be a jerk to some other dogs.
Yeah, that's what
Good girl.
it's me who's been in class to get him through this weird stage.
I feel like she was super thorough there, but I'm not sure that I noticed a big change in behavior that I would recognize there. Did you, was there stuff that you noticed that was, like maybe I just wasn't looking closely enough? So, 2 hides out, both are paired. Don't forget to reward right at source. She's like, I already know where that one is. Wow, you're not going to knock any over either. I'll be so impressed. Look at that. That was so impressive. She like tiptoed. That was very impressive. Good job, Sophie. Nice job. That was nice driving. That was really nice. Again, get as close as you can. Gotta bend those knees.
Bend my knees.